That's so cool. That's so cool. That's
Smoky
so
Mountain.
cool. Well, thank you everyone for sharing that. I just love our topics at the beginning. It's such a treat to get to know each of you a little bit better. But we want to welcome everyone to our Unleash Your Free Spirit monthly webinar. And we've been doing this. I was telling Everette before we started, we've been doing this for a long time, since before, just right around when COVID started in 2020. So it's been over 3 years now. We've had amazing guests, and Guinea and I, my co-host, just are so happy that you are chosen to join us today, and we're so excited to meet our guest. Isn't that right, Guinea?
Oh, absolutely. This is the best part of the whole month for us. Judy and I are professionals. We are entrepreneurs. We have our own businesses. We have our own hobbies. But every month, it's a pleasure to welcome our community and our special guest.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so we're going to hear from our special guest, Everette Witherspoon, in just a moment. I did want to remind everyone that you want to stay on after Everett's done, because he's going to be able to answer some questions. And of course, we get to go into a little bit of learning more about each other. And it looks like we've got a smaller group today. So we're going to do something special with that.
So, I always do the special things Judy pulls out of her hat all the time.
That's right. Just call me a magician. That's it. So we want to welcome Everette Witherspoon. And you know, he's had some challenges in his past, and he has survived to be stronger, and he's such an encouraging person. Wait until you get to know him. Everette is a leadership expert who uses his motivational speaking to encourage children, youth, athletes, and college students. And he also works with professionals to help them keep growing and going when times get hard. He was the youngest person ever to get elected to the Forsyth County Board of Commissioners, and the youngest African-American ever elected to an urban county board of commissioners in the state of North Carolina. He's articulated. You're going to hear him in a moment, but he's also outspoken, which is something I love about him, especially in the private and public sector, where during his tenure, he focused on issues such as poverty reduction. He helped found job creation efforts, healthcare, mental health advocacy, and education equality. He's the author of a book which is called From Minor Setback to Major Comeback. You're going to have to read that. So I want to welcome Everette to our virtual stage to be able to really share all of his insights. So with nothing more ado, I would like to introduce and hear from Everette. Take it away, Everette.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Can everybody hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Loud and clear.
Okay, my name is Everette Witherspoon. I'm the author of From Minor Setback to Major Comeback. And that book is basically about turning your mess into a message, turning your test into a testimony, turning your misery into ministry, turning that hindsight into insight, and turning that story into glory. I actually wrote the book while I was incarcerated on federal charges of tax evasion. So that's actually when I wrote the book. I was the youngest county commissioner ever elected, as was said, to a board of county commissioners in the state of North Carolina. I was the youngest ever in Forsyth County, and that was the 4th populous county in the state of North Carolina. When I came into office, we had more babies dying before their first birthday than any other time in the history of 2 years within my first term. We had the lowest and the least amount of babies dying before their first birthday on record, right? Educational outcomes, 2 years within my term, we had the lowest dropout rate on record. When I first was elected, we had the highest dropout rate on record. Pushed through record teacher increases in pay. Did a lot of things to help deal with the income inequality issues. But when you're holding systems and people accountable, sometimes there will be blowback and sometimes you will make enemies. So I was investigated. They couldn't find anything, but I was a business owner. 5 businesses I was owning at the time. So the IRS hit me with $250,000 in unpaid taxes. Now, I thought that issues was just legitimate business write-offs, but they tried to give me 10 years, and me and my lawyers, we settled for 10 months. So it wasn't fair, but at the end of the day, life is not fair. Fair is a place where they make lemonade. Fair is a place where they judge pigs. Fair is a place where they have chicken on the stick. Fair is a place where they have Ferris wheels. Real life is not fair. Real life is warfare. If something knocked down, you have to fight to get up. Getting knocked down is a part of life, but getting back up, that's the art of life. So life is not always a playground. A lot of times life is a battleground. So you have to fight to make your dreams come true. And there's always opposition to our goals. I know Florence Swin had a beautiful book called The Game of Life and How to Play It. And life is just like a game. And in every game, think of hockey. There's a goalie to try to stop you from scoring. Think of soccer. There's a goalie to try to stop you from scoring. Think of football. The defense is trying to stop you from crossing the goal line. Think of basketball. Basketball goals. The defense is trying to stop you from scoring the goal. And a lot of times in life, there's going to be opposition to try to stop us from reaching our goals. But persistence always overcomes and push through. And one of the important things about prison, matter of fact, prison was one of the better times of my life because I was able to slow down and develop a lot of good habits. In prison, it just came to me, the acronym GROWTH. That's GROWTH. That stands for getting rid of weaknesses through habits. First, you make your habits, then your habits make you. Good habits make good days make good weeks make good months make good years, and good years make a good life. And one of the best habits you could develop is the habit of hard work. Now, I didn't say hard work, H-A-R-D work. I said hard work, H-E-A-R-T work. Now, I always worked hard. 5 businesses, county commissioner, running for state rep, doing all type of nonprofit stuff, working all over. One time I remember staying in my office for over 72 hours when I first started my first business. 72 hours, didn't even go to sleep because we had an audit. First time I ever drunk Red Bull and 5-hour energy drinks, right? So doing the hard work, but at the end of the day, you have to do the heart work, H-E-A-R-T work. And one of the things, the best habits I developed, as Judy was talking about privately on the phone, the habit of gratitude. Because if there's no appreciation, sometimes there will be depreciation. And when I was in prison, before I went to prison, I didn't appreciate just having freedom. But having that freedom taken away from you, you start to appreciate it. It's just like a relationship. You might not appreciate that person until they're gone. So whatever you do not appreciate depreciates. If you don't give the proper thanks, we can lose it. And so at the end of the day, I'm always happy. I'm always grateful. Things might not always go the way that I want them to go, but because of the appreciation, I'm always grateful. I was born in 1978. I'm thankful for that. I could have been born in 1678 as a slave, 1578, 1478. A lot of women, this day and age that we're born in and the women are born in, they have a lot of rights. A lot of us, if we was born in 1678, we would have been out in the heat, sharecroppers, whether we was white or black. We would not have had, we had to use the bathroom in outhouses. We would not have had indoor plumbing. These are just things to be thankful for that we take for granted. The fact that we have our limbs, the fact that we have our minds, the fact that we can think. So once we start being thankful and not taking things for granted, then you have that attractive factor. You start to attract circumstances to you that you're willing to be grateful for. Also, when it comes to habit, in prison, I used to always say, affirmations, meditations, and visualization is the combination that unlocks manifestation. See, when you do the hard work and when you visualize outcomes and when you're able to meditate and when you make affirmations about what you want to achieve, then that helps you persist when times get rough. See, if you just working and you have a bad attitude or you have anxiety or you have fears, then when things go wrong, you tend to quit. But when you have a positive attitude or a positive mind state and things go wrong and somebody tells you a no when you're trying to make a sale, well, you turn that NO, that just stands for next opportunity. You're able to move on to the next opportunity because you have a positive attitude. When you do affirmations, visualizations, meditation, when you read positive books and somebody tell you no, you're able to flip that around. When you flip NO around, you get ON. Move on, keep on, press on, fight on. But if you don't do the hard work, the reading, the meditating, the visualizations, the affirmations, the gratitudes, when you hit roadblocks, you tend to burn out. You tend to stop. See, a lot of us, we wash our behinds, but we don't wash our minds. Every day we take a shower, rightfully so. But every day we don't wash our minds. Every day we don't participate in affirmations, visualizations, meditations, gratitude, reading. So we have stinking thinking. The thing about your mind is different from your body is that your body has kidneys. Your body has sweat glands. Your body has different mechanisms to get rid of the junk. Your mind doesn't have that. Unless you intentionally flush the junk out of your mind, whether it's the anxieties, whether it's the fears, whether it's the trauma, whether it's things spouses said to us in the past, whether it's things siblings said to us in the past, whether it's things parents said to us in the past, whether it's things that family members or classmates or traumas that happened in the past, whether it's abuse physically or mentally. You can't get rid of that automatically. Your body automatically gets rid of its waste. But your mind, you have to consciously do things to get that junk out of your mind. And that's where the gratitude comes in. That's where the meditation comes in. That's where the visualizations come in. That's where the affirmations come in. That's where the reading, the positive material comes in. Because as we say, readers are leaders and leaders are readers. And so at the end of the day, when you're working toward a goal, because goals are very important. We are all entrepreneurs, so we know the importance of goals. But most people, they don't even know the importance of goals. It's like it's basketball season right now. And a lot of people watching the NBA playoffs. But can you picture the NBA players just running around and not even having a basketball goal to shoot? How would they know if they scored or not? How would they know if they're winning or not? But a lot of people in life, they don't even have any goals. So they're just running around mistaking activity for achievement. How do they know if they scored? How do they know if they're getting any closer to fulfilling their calling or their vision? So that's the importance of having goals. But one thing about meditating, one thing about reading, one thing about visualizing is that it helps you fine-tune your goals. It helps you be able to realize what you're good at and what you're not good at, instead of moving on to the next. It's just like when a person dies, there's an autopsy performed on that body to figure out the cause of death. Was it cancer? Was it pneumonia? Was it a heart attack? Was it a stroke? Well, it's the same thing in our lives. And this, prison gave me a chance to do an autopsy on my life, right? But when our dreams die, when things don't work out the way we planned it, sometimes that quiet time to give us the ability to reassess our life, do an autopsy on our life, to think about, is this really what I'm great at? Is this really what I want to do? Is this really the field that maximizes and utilizes my strengths? Is there a way I could have done this better, right? Because a lot of things are our fault, but a lot of things are not our fault. But even though something is not our fault, it is still our responsibility. It's always, it might not be our fault that we not got knocked down, but it is our responsibility to get up. And responsibility is just the response to your ability. We all been given God-like abilities. We all been given a lot of talents. But what is our response to that ability? When hard times come, will we quit? When tough times come, will we quit? Will we doubt ourselves when we have opportunities? So all of that is our responsibility. That's our response to our ability, right? So even though a lot of times life is not fair, there's certain things that would knock us down. There's certain things that would discourage us. When we start to do the heart work, the praying, the reading, the meditation, the visualization, the gratitude, then we start to be able to move more effectively, have more optimism, because it's not just hard work, HARD work. You have to do it in a spirit of positivity. It's just like if we have children. When a child lifts up their hands, the parents lift them up. And it's the same thing with God or the universe or whoever. When we're grateful, we're lifted up to another level. If you have kids and you buy them a pair of Jordans or you buy them some shoes or a video game and they don't say thank you, you're less willing to give them something the next time they ask for something. But if they're grateful, if they're thankful, you're more than willing to give them whatever you feel like they deserve or whatever they want sometimes. Well, it's the same thing with life. When we're not grateful, we get less of the blessings that this life has. So, at the end of the day, that heart work, HART work, is very important. Because when you're meditating, when you're focused, you won't let the process stop your progress. Because a lot of times we so focused on win that we never win. This is what I mean. We so focused on WHEN that we never WIN. We so focused on when it's going to happen, when I'm going to have that breakthrough, when I'm going to scale up my business, when I'm going to get more clients, that anxiety actually make us quit midway through the process. And quitting doesn't make it easier, but quitting won't make you get to your goal earlier either. Quitting will make sure you never get there. But if we can't calm the voices that's in our mind, then we will quit. And that's where meditation comes in. Meditation is just telling your mind to be still. Meditation is telling your mind for 10 minutes or 5 minutes or 15, 20, 30 minutes, depending on what level you at, you're going to sit down and be still. It's just like putting a child in the timeout. See, children can't sit still. Children have to be taught to sit still. Childish minds, immature minds can't sit still. They have to be taught to sit still. So you have all these racing thoughts, you have all these anxieties, you have all these fears, you have all this low self-esteem, lack of confidence. That's where the heart work, the HEART work come in. Not the HEARD work, but the HEART work. In order to do the meditation, the visualizations, the affirmations, seeing yourself in a new light, speaking more positive words over yourself. Because a lot of levels we can't go or grow to, acronym for fear, false evidence appearing real. There are a lot of gifts that we have, but we can't maximize them gifts because we're too afraid to step out and use those gifts. And fear has two other meanings to the acronym. Forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. Because when we go into the next level, we have to get out of that comfort zone. And there's a lot of things we're going to have to face that we feel uncomfortable facing it. But if we want to level up, if we want to fulfill our callings, if we want to maximize our potential, then we have to step out and face these fears. So,
That's
of course,
Everette.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I think that you could talk for 30 minutes at least on this subject.
Oh, yeah.
And Judy, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, there's an echo, Guinea, but yes.
Okay, I am going to leave that. Okay. Now, Everette, you were speaking from heart.
Thank you.
And I kept hearing, every time you would bring that, not hard work, but HEART, I said, this guy is speaking from experience.
Yes.
notes and notes and so many, affirmations. I'm saying, oh my God, I need to use that more. Autopsy of my life. I said, oh my God, never thought about that way, in that fashion. Phenomenal. We are honored to have you here.
Thank you.
Honor, literally.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our prayers and our heart, great gratitude to have the chance of hearing you. And I think I can hear you for hours altogether. I'm saying, okay, wow.
Thank you.
Response to your ability is responsibility. I said, this guy really knows how to break the words and bring it. Grateful for your presence, my dear friend, and I honor the light in you and your experiences and the fact that you never gave up. You keep on doing your best. Awesome.
Yes, and Everette, if you'd like to put your contact information in the chat,
okay,
please do so, because I know that our guests will have a lot of questions for you.
Okay,
you have such a touching story. I just love how you take
yes, please,
take those no's and turn them into ons. That is so cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, the fact that you could pause, and the prison is the place where you really learn how to. I said, oh my God, this guy really knows how to make the best of the worst situations. Like we'll say, oh my God, why me? Why this? We can go on self-pity. We can keep on blaming others. We can keep on saying, not my fault. Why this happened to me? But you are the guy to become a better version of who you are. I mean, that's phenomenal. Your story is really, Everette. Put your contact information. I would like to have a one-on-one with you someday soon, because I think everybody should, because this is the, this is called authenticity.
Yes, ma'am.
My friends, we have a lot of people who can read from somebody else's experience, somebody else's story, and put it up there on the profiles and all. And you can right away make out that this is coming from absolutely the core of who you are, not something I've just read it here and there, and that can be yours. Would you agree with me there, Mark?
Yes, ma'am.